This is the Beesotted Pride of West London End of Season Podcast Part 2, featuring Billy Manuel and Graham Benstead. If you want to check out Part 1 or Part 3, go to beesotted.co.uk or go to our audio boom channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want to go to any of our events for next season, just go to beesotted.co.uk and sign up to the Beesotted Social Club.
Brentford FC, come on, you Brentford, come on, you Bees, come on, you Brentford, come on,
So here we are, Beesotted Pride of West London podcast, Pride of West London End of Season Social. Has everyone enjoyed themselves tonight? I want to say thank you everybody for supporting and coming down. At the end of the day, we do what we do and we enjoy doing it, but it ain't going to be anything without the Brentford fans coming down as well. And at the end of the day, we did these do's for people to come down, enjoy themselves, hang out and have a laugh, and you're coming down and hopefully you're having a laugh, and we're very happy about that too. So, which is absolutely teething tremendous, as we say. So listen, we talked a bit earlier with a couple of two Brentford legends, but we've got another couple of Brentford legends here, sitting here with me as well, in the days when, to be quite honest with you, it was the time when I had a little bit of money in my back pocket so I could actually travel home and away, and it was very lucky because in those days we actually won the league as well, which is fantastic. So I went up and down the country watching these two characters here playing football.
That's right.
It was indeed. Absolutely brilliant. So look, everybody, give a round of applause to the two legends I've got here. We've got Mr. Graham Benstead. And Mr. Billy Manuel. So, I mean, we may be doing this the right way round, the wrong way round, but it doesn't really matter. Listen, I'm going to start off with Mr. Manuel here.
Sit here, Bill.
Nice.
You're all right, mate. On your lap.
Billy Manuel, Brentford, 1991 to 94, played 94 games. Now, according to Wikipedia, they said you scored 1 goal, but I don't believe them because I believe you actually scored 2 goals for Brentford. Is that right? Billy, can you correct the wiki? No.
I thought it was 1, to be fair.
Okay, I'm going to come back to this in a minute, but I thought you scored a goal against... Oh, I will come into it because I've got my notes down here, but...
For the reserves?
No, it wasn't the reserves. I think it's a couple of cup games anyway, but we'll talk about that anyway. But also, listen, Billy Manuel, he played for Spurs. He was at Spurs, you at Spurs time, then in Gillingham, he came to Gillingham, played for Posh, he played for Cambridge, Barnet, then he went non-league, Grays, Tunbridge and Bromley as well. Always a South East London boy, if you remember rightly. I went down to your house in South East London. We went for an interview and it went all a bit horribly wrong that time, didn't it?
Well, there was a few people who's like, I think they got a bit sick that night.
It wasn't me.
No, I think Dave.
Oh no, I wasn't sick. You are.
No, it weren't me, officer, it was him.
Well, you drove us home.
I didn't drive nowhere. You come to my house and all that, and I thought, you know what, I can't have him in the house. So we went to the pub and...
We had a drink.
A few.
A couple of cold drinks were had.
No, to be fair, I think we was the last ones. I think about 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was, and we still tried to get the sat nav to get back from South East London at the time. We had no idea where we were at all, but we got back eventually. But listen, Billy Manuel. So listen, you were signed by Mr. Noddy Holder for 60 grand. From was it from Gillingham or from Tottenham you were signed?
Gillingham.
So signed from Gillingham. So you're an extra Gills boy, or Gillingford as we call them at the time. You know, it's the opposite direction though that you came from. But you did go back in the other direction before because you had to just like do that the Brentford thing. Well, it's my time's up now. I better go to play for Gillingham because everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? So which is all good. The captain at the time was Terry Evans as well, and you came into the team as probably a bit of a prime time because it was 1991-92, and that was the season, wasn't it? I mean, you came into the team which was the absolutely top. You know, we were just building to get promotion. So was that, and you were actually the only player that was added to the squad because the previous season we'd actually lost in the playoffs to Tranmere Rovers.
So I made the difference.
You made the difference, apparently. That's right. So let me just run through your teammates. I mean, you had Dean Ellsworth, Gary Blissett, Jamie Bates, Keith Millen, Benno, never heard of him. Evans, Blissett, Godfrey, Radcliffe, Marcus Gale, Richard Cadette, Neil Smiley, Keith Jones, And then we also signed in a bit later Tony Seeley, with Brian Stafen, Chris Houghton as well, who was in the side. He added to the coaching side. And
Murray Jones?
Murray Jones came the following season, actually, if you remember rightly. And C. Krasinski, you remember as well, like I say. Yeah. So.
Lee Luscombe,
Lee Luscombe I think came a little bit later as well, but we'll talk about that. But
he's a goalkeeping coach, you know.
That's right. But the start of that season, listen, Bliss. Remember, it was a bit weird because that start of that season, it could have gone really horribly wrong because you came in, but we had Gary Blissett refusing to sign a contract. You know, he was training with Notts County. We said you got to pay $500,000. They didn't want to pay it, and he came out. It was all over the place. Like I'm saying. I mean, what did you know about them? I mean, when you came in, what did you think of the team?
To be fair, I was going to sign for Bournemouth with Harry Redknapp sort of come in for me, but they had a sign embargo where they couldn't sign players, so he spoke to.
Is that because of his dog had been signing a lot of players before? So
Listen, Harry's honest Harry is all right. Listen, no, he was good, but he couldn't sign players because he had a sign embargo. So lucky enough, he spoke to Phil, and I ended up doing a deal with Phil. But playing left back, being at Tottenham and Gillingham or whatever, played a little bit of football. But Phil was very direct, but you know what are you laughing at?
No, we know. I mean, Richard Cadette, who was on our previous social, he told us that he didn't mince no words. He was like, he said, the direct game, and Richie wasn't happy with that either, you know what I'm saying?
But he scored goals though, to be fair. If the ball's in your half, they can score goals. If it's in their half, they can't score goals. So we used to knock it down the line to Bliss. Bliss used to knock it inside. Kylie, as we called Dean Oldsworth, I should be so lucky, he used to just come up his ear roll, his knee or whatever, and end up scoring 30 odd goals. And everything was about Dean, like, to be fair, but don't worry about like keeping clean sheets and the midfield and everyone. Oh, Benno, you done all right as well. But, you know what I mean? So
your first season, it didn't start particularly well because I mean, obviously you got a nickname.
My first game,
Billy the Pitbull. Well, you were suspended.
I was suspended. Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know because you accumulated about 400 yellow cards at Gillingham before you came to Brentford.
I think it was 412. But the first game was at Barnet, 5-5. As for a left back, the back four, Phil sort of looked at me and looked at me again, and then he said something like, "That ain't good enough." But we ended up winning in extra time or something, I think. So, yeah. So
we won that as well, and again we're going to come to Benno as well because he didn't start either. He pulled his hamstring at the start of the season, so it was no, he wasn't. No, he pulled his hamstrings, so it was a bit of a funny start to the season because Ashley, oh yeah, we'll come on to that in a bit. Actually, a lot of people, if you don't know about Ashley Bays, it was like Ashley Bays was like a good wine, like, you know, sort of like this sort of kind of a Bordeaux that you know, like 1991 Bordeaux. It got better about 15 years after you've bought it. You know what I'm saying? So, with all due respect. It's lovely now, but you know, Jesus Christ. Back in the day, you taste it like, oh, Jesus Christ, you know. but anyway, so that's right. So he's upstairs. So anyway, so he started that season, 4-3 win at Orient, 5-5 draw at Barnet in the Cup, and then after that, 6-match winning run and a 90-match sequence, 13 wins out of that, 3 draws, 3 defeats. It was a wicked start of the season. Did you think, oh my God, I've made the right move here?
I always like knew I'd made the right move anyway. Like coming to a club, it was like a family club. It was somewhere I wanted to be. And to be fair, Phil was quality. Phil was like unbelievable. He had his way of playing. Right, it was a little bit more direct, but you know, we used to knock balls in. Even as a midfield player, as long as you got in front of your midfield player and got the knockdowns, we end up getting the ball, and it worked for us. But
And again, I mean, you talk about Phil Holder very fondly, because Phil Holder obviously was our manager, then did very well, then things didn't go quite right and he got sacked. He was a bit upset about that. But you've actually got a very good relationship with Phil Holder. You still talk to him now, don't you?
Yeah, I still speak to him. My niece used to work at his flower stall. But Phil was...
He's got a flower stall.
He did have. I think he's working for the PFA now, driving people about because his knees and his hips are gone. I think he met a couple of Brentford supporters and they done a job on him. I don't know. What do you reckon, Dave? Was it you?
Phil?
Was it you? No, what was you? Was it
Wasn't
you?
me, I no, nothing to do with me. No.
It's all right. Gary won't it go? He won't it go, it's all right.
So listen, so that season, I mean, like I said to you, and I'm going to bring Brentford in a minute, and Benno in a minute as well, because we were top by November. I mean, that was a wicked season as well. Top by November, and it was like a bit of a 3-horse race, wasn't it? We had Stoke City, Division 3, Division 3, Division 3, Birmingham City and Brentford all sort of vying for pretty much those 2 top places. And I mean, I'm just wondering what it was like in the camp, because at that time it was like, for the fans, it was just like wicked. It was just like, we're on it. You know, Birmingham City became the hated team at the time. Stoke City they were a little bit of a kind of like, they were like shit on your shoe, basically. It's like, oh no, go away kind of thing. But it was like Birmingham City were the team that, you know, you're thinking we need to kind of get rid of them. Because
you used to hate playing Birmingham. They had a right winger, Louis Donner, who was quick. I wasn't the quickest left back. I wasn't the quickest anyway. But he was just rapid. He used to get the ball and try and just run past me. But a lot of them players with like pace just used to open the gates. Just like they didn't have a brain. They just run. But Stoke, I remember playing Stoke at home. I think we won 2-0. I think they had 2 men sent off. Wayne Biggins went up for like a ball and he's gone like that, and I've gone down, held me eye. He got booked, and then I've done the same thing again. He got sent off. Like, I thought, like, people used to do it to me all the time, so why not do it back?
So you're cheating?
Not cheat, but just I didn't play honestly. I didn't play honestly. Benno told me to do it. Benno said, Bill, go down, Bill, go down, Billy.
Bill, you still got the swelling, haven't you?
You see?
Yeah, that's right.
It's not there.
So listen, that's...
Proper old Bill. You're proper old Bill.
So that season, it sort of turned around a bit because Blissett obviously realised that it was looking pretty good. So he signed a new contract in November after Notts County was rejected and stuff and like that. You know, it's interesting because I mean, I know Blissett's not here, stuff, but team members, but he had a bit of a bust up with Ozell. Remember, bust up where he bust his Ozell. He bust his
smashed the granny out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Just like this. Yeah, will you go out the back, please? He smashed him to bits. I think I was suspended that game. I don't know why, but and he's gone up for a ball and he's actually pulled it. He has done him. To be fair, he done him, and Bliss got sent off, and I went from the dugout over to where Bliss is, and I sort of went in the change room with him. But he smashed him to bits. And
why? Do you know that? Did Bliss come in and say, "Oh, it's because of"? Is there any reason?
No, he's just centre half. Just like forwards and centre halves don't get on. We like our forwards and our centre halves. We used to have a thing. Our back four used to moan at the centre forwards if we'd sort of drew 0-0. Our back forwards, like Terry Evans, me, Benno, whatever, used to moan at Dean Holdsworth, Richard Cadette. You didn't fucking score today. Like, but you know what? Or we'd win 2-1 or whatever. You let a goal. So we lost 1-0. Bang. You let a goal into them. We had that rivalry between our back four and our forwards, and it got so sort of intense that's why we won the league, I think, because we didn't want to let a goal in, and they wanted to score goals. So it was like a big rivalry, like our forwards and the back four. Do you think?
Definitely.
So listen, wicked home form. Brentford were wicked that season, weren't they? They were smashing everyone at home. A little bit dodgy away from home, though, weren't we? Like, you know, I think we didn't win away from home from October to April, which was about
Birmingham, yeah. Oh, that was a year after.
Yeah. 30. I think it's 13 games. So we slipped out of the top 6. We were in there, but we slipped out of the top 6. when we drew that 0-0 game. Remember that 0-0 game at Reading? There's loads of us come down there. We played that 0-0 game at Reading, and there was a little bit of a kind of bad vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah. We had a bit of a bad vibe from the supporters, basically. And I can always remember Phil. We come in at the end of the game, and Phil said, "Right, let's fucking go on a run, right?" And we just said, "Get on it," right? And we did, and we just went on that. No, and we just went on that run, and it wasn't because of the supporters booed us or anything. I think they expected a little bit more, but we just come up short, and we just went on this run, and the rest is history, really.
And the rest is history, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well, because Laney's going to come and he's going to introduce Benno, and he's going to talk a little bit about Benno, and he came into Brentford and that, because he came, I think, a season before Billy came in there, but we're going to come back to Billy here as well. So that was that's a great season. We come on Peterborough, we won, and we'll talk about that between the two of you in a minute now, but it seems like your luck was in, Billy, because you just come in and all of a sudden, bang, you've won promotion, and you were just like the golden boy, wasn't it?
No luck at all. I was the difference. I sound like you, Joe, innit? Joe, I sound like you. No luck.
So that's it. So listen, I've got to ask you this question as well, because you've asked me to ask that as well, and then we'll move on, and Laney will bring Benno in, and then we'll start talking between you two, because that season we'll talk a little bit more about the promotion, about the run-in, about Fulham game, and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But cards is more important at the moment now, because the card school that we had. I mean, apparently you two boys were part of some sort of card school, and you were pretty rubbish.
How many asses did you lose?
It was a game of arts. We all played arts at the back of the coach. And I think
how many games? How much did you lose?
Very rare, Bill. Very rare.
Lost your old woman.
Yeah. Trousers.
Lost
tracksuit bottoms.
You lost your car. You lost your car. You did. Come on, tell.
But we had to play.
Tell the truth.
No, is it? Yeah, I will tell the truth. There's a few games.
You're a woman.
Whoever had arts, we played arts. Whoever won, who lost. I think this is what got David Webb. Got rid of the old school.
Yeah.
Because we had we played arts, and one of the newest ones there was Simon Line, and we just dragged him into a game of arts, and whoever lost had to do a trick, and obviously Simon Line, we made out that he lost, so he got his tracksuit bottoms down, and he had to crawl down the middle of the coach, barking like a dog, stark naked, and we all slapped his arse going down, and the manager was down at the front. He was not amused, David Webb, and he come all the way, you know.
It was like a bulldog,
and that was our mentality. That was what it was,
and lick the piss off stinging that one.
But yeah, so that's how it was.
So, who was in this card school? Tell me, who was in the gang?
It was me, Millie, Bliss was one of them, and then whoever new one was coming. Then the new one.
So they had no idea. They thought, "Oh, this is great. It's good fun."
And we had to set up little tricks and little games, and basically like that, little And it always involved being naked, really. Basically. I don't think they'll do it now, But that was it.
So much there.
So listen, I'm gonna move on to Laney, who's going to start talking to Benno, and then we'll just bring the both of you in, because like I said, both of you were in that season, which was the promotion winning season for Brentford, which is, for a lot of the fans here, was probably one of the best moments for them ever at the time, because we were quite rubbish before then, so which is great. But I'm going to bring. We weren't rubbish actually. We were very good, but we didn't have the opportunity to go up as we did then, and we grabbed the opportunity. Like I said to you, great teams beforehand when we had the Kamara and Behalls and Blissett and Joseph and all that lot. Great team, but we just didn't get the opportunity like we did in your day. And all of a sudden, you grabbed the opportunity. Yeah. But I'm going to ask a question, and I have to ask it because everyone's asking the question now. We're wondering, was it a joke, or was your daddy really a bank robber?
It was, yeah.
I mean, tell us. I mean, how did that work? With what happened? Is your fridge was full of your mattresses full of cash?
I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. There was some weeks where we'd have nothing. I'd knock at the door. There'd be, and I'd go to the curtain, go to look at it. I'd clip round the ear roll. Look round. It's a gas man. Just fucking sit down. Don't move the curtain. And then the next week we'd have like 80, 90 grand. Yeah, there's that. And the best thing, I swear to God, 100%. The best movie made was like there was white Deodora trainers. They had the gold Beyond Borg like being ball classics. They were £55 in the shop. I was selling them for £8 a pair around at Hackney on my estate. Like, he had a full front room. Like, I used to do like 7s, 8s there, 9s there, 10s there. And a week later, he done the lorry going to Olympia. It was a feeler lorry. There was all one-off feelers. So at the time, at Theodore Classics, feeler, it was going to school dressed absolutely mint. Absolutely mint. And get like £20 a week pocket money. This when I was like 12, 13. You know, this 30 years ago. So, yeah, he was clever.
That's right, but he never...
He got caught. He did do 11 years, so, yeah.
But he never hurt nobody.
I think Gary nicked him, actually.
Oh, people don't know, Gary Roberts is actually became a police officer after he left Brentford, so there you go. So
Don't fucking point me out.
Sorry, guys.
I think they know who you are by now, Gary, you know what I'm saying?
And you know you are, old Bill.
So I mean, yeah, Interpol, you know, but so I mean, the thing about it, I mean, football. We're talking football, but this is a quite intriguing story. So how did this affect your football? Did it?
You know what? It drove me to sort of be like the person I was. I didn't want none of that, to be fair. 6, 7 years old, when you're growing up in that sort of environment, and your ass sort of gets spun every sort of month or whatever, you think that's normal. Your mum tells you they're checking for bad people and ghosts. And then when you go to school a little bit later on, 2 years later, 8 or 9, say to a friend, "Did police come around your house today? Check for bad people, ghosts?" "No. Police don't come around our house." And then sort of that drove me to go and see my dad in Pentonville and Brixton and here and there. Drove me, I didn't want that type of life. I wanted to just concentrate on being a footballer, being an apprentice, then being a pro, and it drove me that way, sort of thing. So it done the opposite.
And what I'll say as well, in your post-football life as well, you've got an ambition as well to sort of you're doing an education thing as well, because you want people to sort of learn from your lessons and kind of move forward as well. Is that correct?
It's you know what, I retired at 30. I broke my leg and dislocated my ankle and all that at 27, and then I weren't the same player, so I retired at 30. But with all these academy players, you think you're going to be a pro till you're 35, get your pension, be like a coach, be a manager, manage England, and then you're going to go to one of your first clubs and be a kit man till you're 85. How wrong? It's like so wrong. As soon as you finish playing, you've forgotten about. So I'd love to go around like lower clubs and all that, or the higher clubs through the academies, and just tell them that to try and train to be something while you're playing, to then sort of give yourself a chance. So when you finish playing, you can go into like being a plumber, a plasterer, bricklayer, or something like that. Painter. Why would you say painter? I would never ever tell him to go into being an old builder. You got good moves, you got good dance moves, Gal, but that ain't the profession. Listen, it's bad. But yeah.
So listen, I'm going to bring Laney in here, who's going to bring in Benno is a goalkeeper for Brentford, and the same era as Billy, and then we could talk a little bit more about the games they played together, you know, the fact that we went up, you know, in that year, and other things as well. Laney.
The stories this man's got is unbelievable.
Sorry,
No, it's fine.
Listen.
Go on.
She said about playing games together. One game sticks out. Newcastle away. Newcastle away. Benno's come out and kicked the ball. Right. It's gone.
That's my only fucking story.
Hold on. Keith Scott said it, but Gary Blissett's offside. It's bounced to Robert Lee, who's on his own centre circle. Benno's limping. Robert Lee's pinged it 65, 70 yards over Benno. He's ended up like like a crab in the back
the
of the
only
net.
fucking
In the back of the
story,
net. There it is. In the back of the net. In the back of the net. But you know, saving grace was linesman had a flag up because Bliss was offside. It's the best goal I've ever seen. I even turned around and started clapping.
And we still lost 5-1.
We lost 5-1, yeah. But I thought I'd done all right though.
5-1. We don't do Newcastle very very well, do we? We always seem to lose there. So Graham, welcome. Can I have a round of applause for Graham Benstead, please, before we start? Thank you very much. It's last but certainly not least. What was painful was you started off at Queen's Park Rangers.
I did, yeah. I started off as a young boy at QPR. I was at Wimbledon first, and I was with Black Joe as a kid. And where is he? There's Joe.
Call him that?
And
Did he call you White Benno?
yeah, and basically I was with Joe, Black Joe, and I was with Dave Bassett then, and people like that, and the Wally Downses of this world, and people like that, Dave Bessants, and I got released, and I ended up devastated. Got home, didn't have mobile phones then, obviously, and I think we played QPR in a Southern Junior Floodlit Cup or something like that, and I happened to have another fucking blinder, didn't I? You know, another man of the match. So it come on from that, and I got released by Wimbledon, and then I got home, and dear old mum said, "You got a phone call from Chris Gayle." I said, "Chris Gayle?" He said, "He's at QPR." He said, "You've got to go and ring him." So basically, cut long story short, I went upstairs to the phone, rang him, and the next day I signed apprentice for 1 year. And I started off my career at QPR. I only played one game, and obviously then went on to Norwich.
So Terry Venables was manager of Rangers at the time. Did you have much dealings with Tel?
No, basically, when I first went there, it was Tommy Doherty was the manager, and and then I happened to do that well in the youth team that year, and Terry Venables come in and Alan Harris come in, and then basically they signed me pro, and I only played one game against West Brom in the FA Cup, and obviously big Cyril Regis played and people like that, and it was like and I think we lost 3-1, and that let Peter Hucker back in, but then once you get the taste of it, you sort of want to sort of play first team football.
Being a young goalkeeper is it's hard work, isn't it? So you can be good, you can play worldies, but you until you've got league games under your belt, you're seen as a rookie goalkeeper. As you say, Peter Hucker was kind of quite established there. Then you went to Norwich. Yeah. You got Brian Gunn, who became like a real legend for Norwich. So was it a frustrating time for you?
Well, I went to Norwich, and initially it was Chris Woods there. Chris Woods was the keeper there, and I went as his backup. I think they paid 20 grand for me or something like that. And that was when Chris Woods went to Rangers, and I think Ken Brown gave me my start. So, and I played the first 11, 12 games, I think, for Norwich in the old Division 1. And I got injured, and I dislocated my shoulder, as fucking per usual. And that left Brian Gunn in, and they paid £70,000 for a keeper from Scotland, and they weren't going to stick him in the reserves. So, my days were really numbered, I think, by then. So it's back to the drawing board. In them days, we didn't have reserve team keepers, so we were stuck, I think we only had 3 subs then. So it was hard. It was a bit of a learning curve as well, but you get through it.
So Sheffield United was your first proper run of a serious sequence of appearances. Black Joe again. Yeah. Black Cyril Regis with West Brom as well. Yeah. And so when you arrived at, you established yourself as a proper first teamer, lots of games under your belts. Brentford have come in for you. Steve Perryman signs you, and then before you've even put some gloves on in anger, Steve Perryman's resigned. Did you think, what the fuck have I signed?
Well, basically, I got friendly with Bob Booker at Sheffield United, and I was at the first team then at Sheffield United, and I was talking to Bob about Brentford, and my family come from round here as well. We come from Woking as well, and my mum and dad were down here, and I was just hankering to get back home. I had a young family, And it was just nice to sort of get back down south, really, basically. And Bob said, well, they're looking for a keeper. And I thought, well, Tony Parks is there, So anyway, cut long story short, we were in Fuengirola, I think, on tour. And I had spoken to Steve Perriman about it, and he said they're interested in signing me. And so we landed at East Midlands Airport. They went off to Sheffield, and I come back down south, and I signed for Steve Perriman. About a week later.
Perriman, obviously a big name in the game, a big personality, and so tell us about Steve.
Well, massive, because as a youngster I was a Spurs fan, and I still am. I follow football, but I do like Spurs. And obviously Steve was my idol, and to play for a manager like that, was incredible. And and I met Steve a couple of times, and I signed, and I took my wife with me, and we were having a chat in the office and bits and pieces like that. And Tony Parks was still there then. And being a woman, as my, obviously, she said, my wife said at the time, she said, so what's happened to Tony Parks then if Graham signs? So I fucking looked, I thought, Jesus Christ. Darling, I said, please don't mess this up for me, you know what I mean? So it's like, I said, well, Tony's in dispute, blah, 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 and we'd like to sign Graham to take it over. I said, that's not a problem, right, okay. So that was that, and then it was all going swimmingly well, it was going well, and then at the end of it, my wife said, who did you used to play for when you were playing football? And I've looked at her, and I was like, darling, that's my £5,000 signing on fee, fucking gone. That's over 3 years, by the way. So, I thought, shit, she's cocked it all up, but luckily Steve signed me, and, my first game was a nightmare. Basically,
didn't have an agent.
No, didn't have an agent. And it was against Chelsea. We won. We lost 6-1 or 6-2, I think, in a pre-season friendly. And I think I think most of the crowd turned on me, basically, and I think they wanted Tony Parks back from what I could hear. So it was just one of those things. And I got back in the dressing room, and my head was bowed, and I think I only let one goal in. It was my fault anyway, but which I was normally pretty honest about it, but it went on good from there.
Yeah, no, it really did go on from there. It really did. So we've got goalkeepers even at the club now that have had absolute shockers, and they are capable of playing good games. We're not sort of signing rubbish. Jack Bonham at the moment he's had a torrid time at Brentford, and he had a really good game a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like his career might be turning back round again. But you say Tony Parks, he was a big character, but there wasn't room for you and him in around the club. Was it important that he was out of the way?
Well, I think it was. Obviously, there was no backup goalkeeper then, you see. So I think Tony wanted to go on to do different things, and I think the club were going in a different direction. And basically, I wanted my chance, and I just felt Brentford was a lovely club to come to. And I got over that initial first game, and you met the players and the characters at the club, which to this day they are second to none, and we meet up every 4, 5, 10, 20 years. I've got Alan Cochrane there, you know what I mean? So, and it's like we never met, we've always known each other, this twat as well, so it's like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, but he's a nice twat, so it's like, which is good, so it's like, but they're good characters, and that's what and I think that's what's missing, but that's what's pulled us through and pulled me through.
Billy mentioned in his talk about it was like defence versus midfield versus forwards, and you'd have banter in between each other. So now's your chance. I want an honest appraisal of the 4 players that were in front of you. You looked out on that 4. Honestly, pros and cons.
Well, the pros were, they were a magnificent back 4, really, basically. You got Terry and Millie, you got Billy here, you got Staith there, you got fantastic characters, and they looked after you, Obviously, I looked after them more than they looked after me, but but it's just like, as the champagne bottles, man of the match bottles would say. but they were massive characters, and you only, you know, on the odd occasion when I went down injured, you know, I had Big Tell come up to me, and Millie used to come up to me, and I was laying down, and I've got a bad leg or something like that.
Get up, you twat.
Yeah, Tell used to say, Millie, he's fucking twitching again. Who was it? You know, and they would single whoever it was out, and do, you know, not do them, but I mean, make sure that they wouldn't carry on to their best ability, and that's how it was. But they were just fantastic characters.
Didn't carry on to their best ability. I like it. Well, I will bring his name up, and I'm not going to deride him. Ashley Bays. I assume we didn't see the best of Ashley, because there's still Brentford fans I know that they're still getting counselling now for the punches into the back of his own net and stuff. And I still will remember. I always remember going to Norwich away on the away coach, and we found out that Ashley was in goal, and it was just like a sombre mood on the coach.
Well, I think we have this with the goalkeepers with GKU, like obviously goalkeepers union. So I did. So I like to sort of stick behind. But I mean, Beza, I think he was too confident. You know, even in training, he was like England's number one. Do you know what I mean? And we haven't even kicked a ball yet. So it's like, you know, so he's like, all right, Beza, you know, which was nice. Which he was a very confident lad. But I think he sort of got too excited at times, and perhaps it's like, you know, I was a bit more laid back. But that's Ash. But he's gone on to do it. He has gone on a good career. He played a lot of games in the lower leagues, I think. And but that's what Basie does. And I think, you know, I think Brentford fan, he was always, I am England's number one. And I don't think he's played a first team game before he's England's number one. You know?
Judging by England's record, he might have been England's number one for the last 50 years. The season we almost went up, the playoff game, we had a pretty decent run in the LDV. We played Birmingham home and away, losing on aggregate, but that cup run was probably more memorable for you for saving 3 penalties, a game against Wrexham. So we won a penalty shootout 3-0. Yeah. Penalty shootouts are supposed to be exciting, but you know, 3 saves, it was all over and done with. Have you ever saved a sequence like that before?
No, not really. I mean, without blowing my own trumpet, I felt I was quite confident at saving penalties. I don't know why, but it just come across. I mean, it was on a cold, bitter Tuesday night, I think it was, and it was basically a boring game, and it livened up on the penalties. And did they take it first? I think they scored. We scored, and I saved it. You know, and it just went on from that. And then we didn't take a fault. No, that's right. And then I saved the second one. I thought, Christ, you know. I saved the third one, and I really, I've got to be honest, I felt I could have saved all 5. You know, that's how confident I felt. But over the years, I think I've saved more penalties than I think I let in. You know, which helps, which is nice. But no, they were good memories, and it's on the DVD at home, so which is nice.
Oh, yeah, I have to admit, when you play those LDV games, those freight rover games or whatever, you just you dread extra time. You're only there out of stupidity or blind loyalty. Then you just don't want extra time, and it's like, anyway, you're right, it was bitterly cold. But I actually remember that night. It was just like, oh. Obviously, winning the championship. Yeah. At Peterborough is something that none of us who were lucky enough to be there, there's still plenty in this room that were too young to remember it, but there's a lot old enough to remember it very well. Talk us through, I mean, there's some, in the 90s book, if loads are lucky enough to have got it, there's some brilliant pictures of you wearing some ridiculous glasses. So tell us about the celebrations and the fun that you had afterwards.
Well, I mean, basically we just had to go there and get a result. And we turned, and I think we had the preparation before the game, all the squad were there, and we just basically, I don't think it was nerves as such, we just knew we had to win it. And then a day of the game, we were sort of going to Peterborough, and you only knew from like 20 miles out of Peterborough that the Brentford fans were lying in the streets. And then the shit hit the fan, you know what I mean? And then you thought, this is it. You know,
They was going for promotion as well.
yeah, and they were in the mix as well. So it's all a bit, you know. I think the cup was already up at Birmingham, or whatever it was, and it was like, so it was all a bit. So we had to win it, and we got in there, and the fans and the crowd, and a few of the lads, like, they just wanted. I thought I'm going to have a bit of a laugh, and you know, if it comes off, it comes off. So I stuck a pair of glasses in my glove. Well, we had glove bags in. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ! I put the glasses, my old spring thing, in my glove bag, and I thought, if we win it, they are going on. They are going on. So anyway, I just like, we won it 1-0. I think, you know, and Bliss scored, and I was down at the far end, and all our fans were at the far end. You know, the other end. So I thought, yeah, fuck it, they're going on. So I've put them on, and I've run up the far end with these glasses coming out, and it was just a fantastic experience. And I think we all embraced it. We all embraced it, and it's never going to be forgotten. We got back to the ground. We were just got mobbed by the fans and everything, and you know, we having like champagne on the chairman's boardroom table, and you know, and it was just an incredible experience. And it's, to this day, you know, I think with all the lads who played in it, who were part of it, it's going to be a special time. You know, it will never go away, and we were quite nice to be involved with something like that. So it was good.
As you say, you absolutely rightly say, that day and that night, it was almost like we raced back. The players were obviously racing back to Griffin Park. We were on a coach coming back from Peterborough. It seemed like everyone was on the pitch. I don't know how many people were back there, but it was one of those nights that makes this club so special, where it's the fans and the players all together. You know, we're lucky enough not to have outgrown that spirit at the moment where you can share it. And when we went up against P&E, we were all in the Nelson celebrating with the players as well. So we haven't lost that. So can you kind of explain the unity and that kind of vibe from the players' perspective?
Well, I think even to this day, you know, Brentford's not a little club anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they've got so much ambition now. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And but the supporters, I go back periodically, and you know, the supporters there, they still remember you. You know, which is nice. You know, nice for players like me, Billy, you know, other players as well, that they still embrace you, because at the end of the day, we wanted to sort of do it for just as much as them, as for us. You know, there wasn't the money involved like it is now. And I think that era, with the characters that we had, I don't think it's ever going to be forgotten. And, well, you know, I hope not. But, you know, Brentford are going on to do bigger, better things now, which is fantastic. But that's still logged in the memory bank, and it's never going to go away. And, you know, obviously there's people, supporters now, young and old, that will follow it, and they hear the stories about it, and that's history, and that's part of it, and it will never go away.
Let's raise our glasses to that, I think. Raise our glasses to that. You bees. Yeah, absolutely.
So, between you guys as well, we're just going to trying to pick out a couple of highlights as well, and the times that you were both here. So, League Cup Spurs, 7-3 on aggregate, 3-1 at half White Hart Lane, Blissett equalised 1-1, 4-2 at home, Blissett Millen. Talk about those Spurs games, you boys.
Well, I think I was injured yet again. I don't think I took part in that game. Or was I there? Or was it Jerry Payton? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we done well. Jerry Payton was in goal. Yeah. I think I was sub, and I come on playing against Tottenham, my old team. I think I actually stood on Paul Walsh's hand, and Pat Vandenau and Neil Reddock come over to me and Razor, he's a prick. But I stood on Paul Walsh's hand because he used to go out with my sister as well. He went out with my sister, so I stood on his hand. Razor come over, Pat Vandenau come over, and so had a few words. So I think for the 10 minutes I was on, I caused a lot of bollocks. Yeah, I caused a lot of bollocks again. Story of my life.
So what I'm going to say is more is that, and there's another, because that trophy that year as well was the first year that we were up in the it's a championship now, but it's Division 1 then. And we also were in the Anglo-Italian Cup.
Yeah.
Now that, for us, I mean, that's the first time and the only time. Quite everybody like on the back of the head.
Hands up if you've seen Brentford in Europe.
Have you seen Brentford in Europe? Who went to the Anglo-Italian Cup? Who went to see Brentford in Europe? Hands up there. Absolutely fantastic, you know. So talk to us about them games quickly.
Well, I played in that one. I must come back from injury, but I played in that one. I forget Larigio, wasn't it, or something? It was. I don't know where it was. Ascoli. You know, and that's fantastic. You know, to get over there and like, you know, we travelled and you know we stayed in Italy in a hotel and had the nice pasta pre-match and things like that. And it was just a great experience, and you know, that will never be forgotten as well. You know, and that's on YouTube.
And as I say, and the Anglo-Italian Cup as well. And as we say, we've got just a little clip as well. We've actually got the whole game because Beesotted, as you know, Beesotted has been doing videos now. They do videos for every single game, as well as. But we're proper hardcore. We were doing videos from back in the day. So we've got a Beesotted video from 1992 Anglo-Italian Cup. It's just a little intro clip. I keep on saying that I'm going to do one for the whole game because we've got about 6 or 8 hours from that game. But we've got the little just intro clip from the Anglo-Italian Cup as the team came in. I managed to blag my way in. Have a look at this. Characters.
3, 2, 1, back in the middle.
Security.
Are we fighting? I've still got that one. I was going to bring that tonight actually. It's pretty worth it. You could have like auctioned, like to be fair, I was going to bring it. So you could have auctioned it or whatever.
If you want to sell it, I'm going to
Just tell someone to sell it, give it to you if I can get some money for it. Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, naughty! Fuck yeah.
Oh, hey!
Mickey Bennett.
Graham.
I think that. Boy, Claire, go on, chocolatey. Go on, Goff. Gofford!
Coming soon. I've done it about 4 years ago. There you go. So that's it. This just goes to show you. Yeah. So absolutely teething tremendous, as we say. So, but listen, boys, as well. So that was brilliant. So the Anglo-Italian Cup, and we lost in the final as well. It was a bit bizarre. No, we lost in the the final, which is a bit bizarre because and away goals as well. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Absolutely gutted, to be fair, especially against Derby. There was a couple of good games, to be fair. I think we lost 3-2 at home, or 3-1 was it? But 4-3 was it? And then we won 2-1 or something away.
4-2 at home.
But
4-2.
listen, see them places like Italy. You think, but playing in Italy, you go to them places. We get off the coach, need to go to the toilet quickly. You go in there, excuse me. Where's the toilet? Bang, they point you into the shower room. Little cubicle. All there is a little hole in the middle of the floor. You need to go pony. Right. My shooting weren't the greatest anyway, you know what I mean? So it's like, you stand there like this. You're like, yeah, I know too much information, but it's what happened. All I missed as well, so
Billy, look, let's just open it up here. Like, you know, I was going to go through all this and players and teams and what we did, but let's just cut the chase. Just give us a story. You've got ex-players, you've got activity. Just give us a proper story. Come on.
Dave knows. I think the second game we was there. Benno, I think he was there. Joe Allen, Gary Blissett, like card school really. Got to the hotel. had a pre-match, like had a evening meal, go out for a little walk. I think it was in Pisa or something like that. Yeah, come on, we'll go for a little walk. So I walked down at the town, see a little bar. Have a little half. Should we have a little pint? Benno went, we've got a game tomorrow. Fuck that, Benno's proper Benno. Come on, lads, just have one. We'll have one and then we'll go home. Walks in the bar, who's there? Alright, Dave. Fucking all the Brentford lads are in there. Hey! So now we just popped in just to have a look round. Do you want a pint? I'll have one. A couple of hours later, we're still in there. I said, listen, don't you dare take any pictures. He's there with his camera about. Make sure you don't put them in after the game. So we ended up winning the game anyway, so it was all right. So got away with it. So 1-0. Yeah.
So, which is all good. Listen, we want to open it because we haven't had a chance as well. Because what we're going to do is, well, an opportunity to open it out the floor. Because I know a lot of people got a lot of questions, and also, I mean, we got Gary Roberts, we got Francis Joseph here somewhere as well, and they didn't get a chance to ask some questions because we were tight on time with the comedian as well. So,
Francis Joseph's in.
Yes, that's right. And so I just wondered, has anybody out there got any questions for the guys here as well? You know, because we'll throw it into the pot.
So that was part 2 of the Beesotted end of season social. We've got part 3 coming as well. Go to beesotted.co.uk to check it out, or go to Audio Boom Beesotted. Don't forget to subscribe. Write any comments you want to as well. And also, if you want to know more about our socials and our events with ex-players, then sign up to the Beesotted Social Club on beesotted.co.uk.